I am beginning to really question Lobola negotiations. I don't see what the positive is about it. All I'm seeing is negatives. And all I'm seeing is how it used to have a positive outlook. I don't even say outlook because it still has a positive outlook, but I'm here to tell you, I don't see what is good about Lobola negotiations. First of all, loan and debt. It's no secret that South Africa is one of the most is suffering with unemployment. We have one of the highest unemployments in the, I don't want to say in the entire world, but we on that list. When you search unemployment in South Africa appears to be on that list. And it just doesn't, I just don't get why do people feel like something like Lobola is something that needs to be increased in terms of price. We put in price tags on marriage, we put in price tags on women. It's like it doesn't make sense. People are like, whenever I bring this up to people, they're like, no, bruh, you're not buying the girl. And it's like, then why can't I marry her unless I pay the family? You thanking the family. Yeah, that just seems like you're buying them. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So what, you're paying, is that the only reason why Lobola is so special? Because you're thanking the family for raising the child? It doesn't make sense. Why if they raised a horrible child? It just doesn't make sense, bro. It just doesn't make sense. Why do I have to pay money for that? Furthermore, it just seems like it's just gonna cause more problems in terms of, I feel like when we push women towards the ideology that there's a price on them and that Lobola is something that's supposed to and is going to happen in their future, I feel like it pushes women, black women to be specific, towards marrying men who have money. And I'm not saying women have to marry broke people. I'm trying to say women should marry who they love, who they genuinely love. And this thing of normalizing people marrying people with money and not people with intention and heart. Because I'm speaking from experience. I've seen people who will marry someone with money for the just for the sake of having someone that they married who has money, and then the guy ends up beating this girl a few years down the line. And because this guy has money and he's built this reputation of him being a good guy, being such a nice person, no one even believes the female because they don't believe such a person would do it. And those who do believe him are too scared to go against this guy because they know money's more powerful. Money's really powerful. So it just scares me when I see like Lobola being so prioritized in our lives as black people. It just worries me. I'm not trying to say I want Lobola to go. I just wish Lobola could be mitigated. I don't know if you know. I'm guessing you know what mitigated means. Mitigated just means to make less severe, less intense of something. That's what it simply means. I'm telling you that because I also didn't know what it means a few days ago. I read it somewhere. And it's just insane that we prioritizing it. We actually trying to make it seems like people are trying to increase this, make it worse than it is, or at least it's starting to seem like our family's trying to cash out on a boy. It's like bullying almost. I don't like it. I just really don't like Lobola negotiations. It also feels like I'm selling my daughter. Like, yeah, you paid me amount of money, now you can go ahead and marry my daughter. Furthermore, something that really concerned me is that I feel like it's going to feed the mindsets of men who believe money is everything and believe money is power. There are men out there who believe that when they have a problem, just throw money on it. And I feel like Lobola feeds those type of people's minds. It makes them think that money is the reason why I have everything in my life. Yes, money is partly one of the reasons you have everything in your life, but it's like with people like that, they tend to think that because they have money, they can get away with anything they want. And I just feel like it's gonna make them think that even in the marriage, whenever they do something wrong within the marriage, she's not going to leave because I have money. And if she does leave, I'm gonna make sure of that I'll. You know how these type of men operate, guys. We don't have to act like we're blind or we're dumb. We're not dumb. We know how these type of people operate. It's evil, but it's happening a lot more than you think. I just really hate the idea of having to pay money to marry somebody. No one has ever made a good case for me, to be honest, for why Lobola is a good thing or bad. Like, I've only met reasons as to why it's bad. And to be honest, I always ask people, if you had the choice to not pay it, would you still pay it? And majority of people, guess what they say? They say no, they wouldn't pay for it. And it's like, it just doesn't, it just starts to seem like you buying the girl. Because if you are such a kind person, you want to pay your family for raising a child, you would pay the money regardless of whether or not you have to pay for it, whether or not you have to do it. You'd pay the money. But the majority of people won't do that. They will rather not pay it if they didn't have to. But tradition, really, seriously, it's really concerning me, to be honest. And it's one of those things where people talk about it, but they don't talk against it. No one thinks like, is it really a good thing? No one questions it. No one asks questions about it. No one wants to know why. And I get to a lot of people, it's gonna feel and seem like I'm greedy. I don't necessarily mind paying Lobola. It's just that it worries me because I know the type of men that exist out there. Men who think that when they are paying Lobola, that means that they are buying the female. Or no, I'm not saying necessarily think that they're buying the female, but they feel like that's their property. I say that because I know an individual who has done that, who feels like because he paid Lobola, his wife is his property. She can't leave no matter what. Furthermore, also, it's kind of like for people to be paying so much money and for the lady to still have the choice to be able to say, I can leave when she wants to leave. It's really scary that you can spend so much money because you genuinely love this person, and then 5 years down the line, this person says, I'm not happy, and leaves. I'm not trying to say that women never ever are right to leave a marriage, but we can't act like there are times where women leave marriages that they don't have to leave. There are times like that where we see women making a decision, a selfish decision, to leave when they don't have to, when they're not supposed to, just because of their own selfishness. And imagine being in a position like that when you paid for the Lobola. It really seems messed up and unfair. I'm really questioning it. Is it tradition? Is it pressure? It's almost like college and university. People who are pressured to go into university just for the sake of having a degree to their name. You have a degree, but the degree you have has no job that it can get you, because no one's hiring for that type of job. Or at least you have a degree for a job that doesn't need a degree. That's kind of how I feel about Lobola, but more in a different sense. I hope I don't offend anybody, but honestly, I do not care. I just really am questioning it a lot. I'm really questioning it, because it just doesn't seem like a good idea. People are going to loan sharks for these type of things just so they can go and pay for Lobola, and then they get married and they can't afford their basic needs. You see, the way I view Lobola is that it's a want, not a need. If you know economics, you know there's a difference between wants and needs. Needs are things that you can't live without, and wants are things that you just want, like jewelry, luxury products. You don't need luxury products, you just want them. You can survive without those things, and that's just how I feel about Lobola. We don't need Lobola. You can survive without it. A marriage can survive without it. I don't see how the world becomes a bad place if Lobola doesn't exist anymore. But I don't want it to not exist because I understand its tradition. But at the same time, I wish it could be mitigated, or at least I wish it could be watched closely, because it seems like it's getting out of hand. Because it's starting to seem like families and grandparents just want to cash out on somebody, on an individual. What also makes me really sad about it is at times where that money isn't even spent properly. It's just spent it's not really spent properly on investments, on things that's gonna it's not really spent on things that's gonna benefit the family or the kids most of the time these days. I'm not saying previously. I heard previously that that's not how Lobola hasn't always been like this. It has changed over the years, and that's sad. I think that's why we should not change tradition, because when we do change it, we realize how our own selfish desires can ruin the tradition and then create people like me who question it. But I have valid points. I have valid questions. Forgive me if you're hating about what I'm saying.